My Wisconsin process started out with me feeling very unsure and nervous. I didn't know how to begin, and I honestly didn't know where I was going to end up. I knew the way I looked at my identity was going to change. I just didn't know how or to what extent. As I made my first blog post, I expressed how unaware and at times how uncomfortable I was with this topic and incorporating it into my classroom. I knew I had to find my belonging to help me feel more comfortable and aware. My second blog post was focused on the turn to Papuan, the second Cree word I had learned through the process. I learned that through all of this we need to begin with feeling comfortable with our history and the truth. The blanket exercise was the activity that helped me find and realize this truth. It was so overwhelming and powerful. From this exercise, I was able to identify that I am a white settler, cisgender heterosexual. I've also realized how sacred my identity is. My third blog post was based around the pipe ceremony and the significance of what it entailed. This was the week I added the term female to my identity, a word I am proud of. I was unable to attend the pipe ceremony due to being on my moon time. However, I learned how purifying and powerful my body is as a female, especially during this time. My next blog post was based around appropriation versus appreciation. I expressed that even when your intentions are good, you need to make sure you are aware of the reality. During my internship, we did a performance called Christmas Around the World. Each classroom was in charge of making costumes and singing songs based on the culture they were given. My grade 4 classroom had Italy. They dressed as waiters and waitresses and sang a song about how much they love pizza. Unfortunately, this judgment was based off of stereotypes rather than the truth. The next week, I took a couple steps backwards. Even though I had made great progress in my identity as myself and as a teacher, I ended this week questioning my ability to be a great teacher. I knew I could be a good teacher if I were able to keep my students safe and proud. How could I possibly do that when a young boy has died because of his identity? I was back to stage 1 and feeling uncomfortable and unaware. The next week, I had full intentions to move forward and progress again, but unfortunately I did not. Instead, I took another step back as I was left feeling unsure of what Justin Trudeau should have said during his apology to Colton and his family. It left me wanting more knowledge and more education. My next post was based around white supremacy. We talked about the importance of understanding our own privilege, but pushing back anyway to make progress. The airport walkway was an excellent example of doing so. The next week there was a question, should we be celebrating Canada's 150th? I honestly felt that was a question I would have been originally offended by. Canada is our country, why wouldn't we celebrate it? But I didn't feel or think this way when it was asked. It was a big important question and there's definitely a lot more we should think about during this day. Next was our field trip to Fort Qu'Appelle. It was very eye-opening and powerful and likely had the biggest impact on my Muscasuan process. I love the feeling of giving back and saying a prayer. My 10th and final blog post was about our Reconciliation event. Our event was to help raise awareness and share the truth of our history. Unfortunately, there will always be backlash, but we have to keep moving forward on that walkway. I finally feel comfortable and ready for the classroom. This is a journey I will forever be thankful for. I have learned new things about myself and pushed myself to new limits. I'm proud of this journey and my growth from truth to reconciliation. Thankfully, I find that each step I do take backwards, I'm still learning something from, and maybe even sometimes you need to be tested and made unsure to have that further growth. I hope I'm able to help my students understand the importance of finding your true identity. For my visual representation, my hand represents the root of where I have been planted, and my branches represent my identity, the many new things I have learned, and the importance of this journey.